One of the profound questions we're trying to answer is how can we reinvent Australia to deal with global disruption? One of the great examples of that is Australia as a country has been really successful digging up raw materials and selling commodities, but can we use science to reinvent those commodities into unique high-value products? And the titanium sternum developed by Anita's group, Anita is there, wave Anita, is a great example of a commodity, titanium mineral sands, that's been converted into titanium ink for 3D printing, and then even in a priceless example of value, turned into a replacement body part that saved a man's life in Spain. It's also the bridge between the digital world, the world of imagination, and the physical world. Another area that we're really passionate about, in 2014, all funding was cut from CSIRO's education processes, and I'm very proud that we're able to recover that funding through both the NISA agenda and also some creative finances inside CSIRO. It's such an important area and something that I think we'd like to partner more deeply with ATSE over. We do thousands of school visits, but we're only covering 14% of the schools in this great nation. I'd love to cover them all if we could. There are so many science teachers trying to teach science or physics or chemistry when they didn't actually study those subjects at school. So people in this room, people across the nation can really help by volunteering for this really incredibly important area. SMIS, Assets and Digital Careers, are examples of programs we already have. SAGE is new, as is Male Champions for Change. It's something we initiated last year. But it really goes to the point that innovation is about navigating ambiguity, dealing with situations that haven't been dealt with before. The compass to navigate ambiguity is a diversity of perspectives. So unless you have really diverse backgrounds and diverse perspectives in the room, it's almost impossible to make the right decisions in an innovation economy, in an innovation agenda. So we're really trying to move the needle on gender and cultural diversity inside the CSIRO, and in particular to inspire more women to follow careers in STEM, women to follow careers in coding. The student experience, I had the privilege of being a cadet in CSIRO in 1984, and it was transformational for me. It was probably the first time I actually saw science being used to reinvent the impossible and create new opportunities for Australia. It's at the heart of Billy Hughes' vision for CSIRO, actually espoused in this very town 100 years ago. When you go to CSIRO sites where there are students, they have a completely different energy. There's a passion and a vibrancy. And again, if you've been to Anita's site at Clayton, you'll notice that you can't tell the difference between the CSIRO folks and the Monash students who work side by side with them. We'd love to replicate that in all 55 sites across the country. I think it can really strengthen the connection between students and universities and industry, so that the students that graduate are more attuned to the needs of industry and don't have to leave the country, as I did, to go and find jobs overseas, but can actually contribute to the Australian economy right here. You may have heard of the ON program. I would argue it's the single best thing we've done in CSIRO in the last 2 years. It connects science from the benchtop to industry in the form of beta, so benchtop to beta to market. It's an educational program to teach scientists how to understand the value of their science and how to enable that science to create new value in the economy. It teaches them to connect to customers so that they're not just doing innovation, not just doing science, but they're actually doing science all the way to solutions to actually solve problems that really matter for the nation. Again, right at the heart of Billy Hughes' 1916 vision about harnessing the power of science to turn Australia's greatest challenges into Australia's greatest opportunities. That program, Australia may be the lowest collaborator in the OECD, but every single university in this country has signed up to that program, and it's wonderful to see university professors, university students working shoulder to shoulder with CSIRO scientists and engineers to take science to the marketplace, to take science to solve problems, and not just market problems, not just business problems, but social problems. We've demonstrated amazing public good outcomes from this program, things that improve sedimentary runoff for the barrier reef, things that fundamentally improve public health. So ON is not just about innovation for commercialisation, it's about public good impacts as well. Close to half of what's gone through on has had that type of benefit. One I'm particularly proud of is us selling beer to the Germans. This is gluten-free beer. It's an engineered grain that's gluten-free and is currently being sold in Germany as gluten-free beer. Just want to leave you with a thought. Another great example of On is the bridge between the digital world and the real world. So about 30% of the food that we eat relies on bees and pollination. It's a massive impact, about $8 billion impact to Australia if something goes wrong with the bees. And something is going wrong with the bees in the United States and in Europe. We partnered with Intel and a number of other companies to put chips on the backs of the bees and actually measure their behaviour and gather data to understand what's going wrong with them. It's another great example of the bridge between the digital world and the real world. It's an example of corporations starting to understand the value of corporate good citizenship and social innovation so that they're funding science because their customers care about their commitment to society, to the environment. This is incredibly important for publicly funded research agencies. Budgets are shrinking. Corporations have an opportunity to really step up and help us. GE has done that, Boeing has done that, Chevron has done that. They're wonderful. Thank you.